Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture 7 of Security of Information Systems. So today's topic is digital forensics and incident response. Let's start.
Digital forensics and incident response.
Okay, so the outline is
Incident response. Digital forensics. Finding evidence.
and demos. Let's read it.
Demos.
Okay.
Who does this? Digital forensics is often part of an incident responder's job, DFIR.
So what is DFIR? Let's check it out. Okay. As you can see, it is digital forensics and incident response, DFIR.
Digital forensics and incident response is an important.
Okay, sorry about the pause, so I will read it again.
Digital forensics and incident response is an important part of business and law enforcement operations.
Okay, and let's continue. So who does this? Law enforcement and
CERTs, government, industry specific, company specific.
company IRTS. Let's check the IRTS. Okay. And system admins, consultants, and others. It may change according to the countries, of course. So the incident response, incident management, incident response policy, and incident response team. So there is a policy and there is a team whenever an incident happens. So
Incident response policy. Responsibility. Who makes the decisions? Asset priority. Which systems can be taken offline? Which systems can absolutely not be taken offline? Outside experts and agencies. Who you gonna call? At what point is law enforcement involved?
okay, these are all the questions that comes to your mind when an IT related incident happens. Okay.
Incident response policy. As an employee, if I discover an incident, what do I do? The policy must include information on.
Okay, so the policy must include the information about
Chain of escalation.
chain of escalation. So who will you report, and the person you reported will report to who, and how will be the chain of escalation, basically.
How to prevent further damage.
This is also really important. What to do when you discover the incident.
How to preserve evidence until the response team can take over.
This is also a very important issue.
Many names and definitions, the same principles apply to all of them.
Okay, so these are the names and definitions of the response team. Let's open them to see. Okay, CERT is maybe the most common one, as you can see, Computer Emergency Response Team and such. And permanent, virtual, and hybrid. And let's see them. So these are the responses probably.
Red team, blue team. Derived from military wargames. A simulated attack using security specialists. The incident response team defends the system from the attack. Incident response procedures. Detect.
Detect, respond, and recover. So basically you have to detect it first and give an appropriate response and then recover the damage. So it is like this. Okay, so I detect hygiene issues and operator activity that does not follow best practices, which are inventory, telemetry, detection, and triage. Then, when my red team emulates a real-world adversary, I detect their intrusion at multiple points along the kill chain. So threats, behaviors, hunt. During incident response, I operate at the same tempo as the adversary to protect my business assets, tracking and acting. Okay, so these are the incident response procedures. Before the attack happen, you have to take your countermeasures. That is the important thing. So you have to have some kind of detection system to detect the incidents, attacks. To do that,
Know your assets. If you don't know your assets, you cannot defend them.
okay,
Triage. Weed out false positives.
this is important. There can be always false positives.
Categorize events.
Type of incident, source, growth, and damage potential. So you have to categorize the events and take actions as related to the category of the event. Collect data, mitigate damage, and isolate the systems. This is respond, and this is the detection part, and continue to respond. Analyze and track adversary. So adversary is the your attacker.
What is the root cause of the incident? Who, how, when, why.
And is law enforcement is necessary at that point when you are getting attacked, and after you respond to attack, it is time to recover, fix the problem. Let's say you have an exploit in your system which lets attackers to modify your database without permission. You have to patch it. Okay, patch the exploit, then improve your incident response based on what happened so far and how you responded it. And disclosure is the close of the incident. Or oh, disclosure is the probably explanation or publication of the incident or something. I don't know what it means in this context. So let's continue with digital forensics. So this was all related to incident response. Maybe we can find another source to get better idea. Okay, also let's read from here as well. Having multiple sources is useful. Okay, I think this is a better one as a source. So Chief Customer Architect has written this article.
Incident response steps, 6 steps for responding to security incidents. When a security incident occurs, every second matters. Malware infections rapidly spread, ransomware can cause catastrophic damage, and compromised accounts can be used for privilege escalation, leading attackers to more sensitive assets. Whatever the size of your organization, you should have a trained incident response team tasked with taking immediate action when incidents happen. Read on to learn a 6-step process that can help your incident responders take action faster and more effectively when the alarm goes off.
Okay, so in this article we are going to learn about this. Let's see each of them.
What is incident response? Incident response (IR) is a structured methodology for handling security incidents, breaches, and cyber threats. A well-defined incident response plan (IRP) allows you to effectively identify, minimize the damage, and reduce the cost of a cyber attack, while finding and fixing the cause to prevent future attacks.
So it is a structured methodology. This is important.
During a cybersecurity incident, security teams face many unknowns and a frenzy of activity. In such a hectic environment, they may fail to follow proper incident response procedures to effectively limit the damage. This is important because a security incident can be a high-pressure situation, and your IR team must immediately focus on the critical tasks at hand. Clear thinking and swiftly taking pre-planned incident response steps during a security incident can prevent many unnecessary business impacts and reputational damage.
Okay, this is the important part. Let's read that part again.
Clear thinking and swiftly taking pre-planned incident response steps during a security incident can prevent many unnecessary business impacts and reputational damage. You can help your team perform a complete, rapid and effective response to a cybersecurity incident by having a comprehensive incident response plan in place. In addition, completing an incident response plan checklist and developing and deploying an IR policy can help before you have fully developed your IR plan. Why should you immediately report a cybersecurity incident? When a cybersecurity incident is confirmed by security analysts, it is important to inform relevant parties as soon as possible. Privacy laws such as GDPR and California's CCPA require public notification, and in some cases personal notification to data subjects, in the event of a data breach. Depending on the severity of the breach, legal, press and executive management should be involved. In many cases, other departments such as customer service, finance or IT need to take immediate action. Your incident response plan should clearly state, depending on the type and severity of the breach, who should be informed. The plan should include full contact details and how to communicate with each relevant party, to save time in the aftermath of an attack.
Okay, of course, this is based on the location where you live. However, in many of the countries there are cybersecurity, let's say cybersecurity related enforcements. So letting them know, informing them could be useful for you and prevent further attacks.
What are the 6 steps of incident response? The first priority when implementing incident response cybersecurity is to prepare in advance by putting a concrete IR plan in place. Your incident response methodology should be battle-tested before a significant attack or data breach occurs. It should address the following response phases as defined by NIST Computer Security Incident Handling Guide, SP 800-61.
Okay, this is important. Let's read this part again.
Your incident response methodology should be battle-tested before a significant attack or data breach occurs.
Battle tested. That is why there are white hackers who tries to find the exploits in the systems and let the companies know to fix them before a real attack happens.
Preparation, planning in advance how to handle and prevent security incidents.
Okay, so these are the 6 steps of incident response.
Detection and analysis encompasses everything from monitoring potential attack vectors, to looking for signs of an incident, to prioritization. Containment, eradication, and recovery, developing a containment strategy, identifying and mitigating the hosts and systems under attack, and having a plan for recovery. Post-incident activity, reviewing lessons learned and having a plan for evidence retention.
So there is preparation, detection and analysis, containment, eradication and discovery. You see this is a loop, and therefore whenever a detection happens, you make containment and eradication and continue discovery again. And there is post-incident activity, which led us to improve our preparation for the next attack, next possible attack. So this figure is from
the NIST recommended phases for responding to a cybersecurity incident.
I think they have also given a name to NIST here. So this is the NIST, and which is
Computer Security Incident Handling Guide.
Special publication. It is written by the US Department of Commerce, as you can see. I think, yes. Computer security. Oh, okay, this is 2012 dated. US Department of Commerce. Okay, it would be probably useful for you to read this, and I can't read it at the moment. Okay.
Building on the outlined NIST phases, here are specific incident response steps to take once a critical security event has been detected.
So these are the steps that we have to take when the incident is detected.
Assemble your team.
This is the number 1, step 1.
It's critical to have the right people with the right skills, along with associated tribal knowledge. Appoint a team leader who will have overall responsibility for responding to the incident. This person should have a direct line of communication with management so that important decisions, such as taking key systems offline if necessary, can be made quickly. In smaller organizations, or where a threat isn't severe, your SOC team or managed security consultants may be sufficient to handle an incident, but for the more serious incidents, you should include other relevant areas of the company such as corporate communications and human resources. If you have built a Security Incident Response Team (CSIRT), now is the time to activate your team, bringing in the entire range of pre-designated technical and non-technical specialists. If a breach could result in litigation, or requires public notification and remediation, you should notify your legal department immediately.
Okay, so step 2.
2. Detect and ascertain the source. The IR team you've assembled should first work to identify the cause of the breach, and then ensure that it's contained. Security teams will become aware that an incident is occurring or has occurred from a very wide variety of indicators, including
Okay, so these are the indicators.
users, system administrators, network administrators, security staff, and others from within your organization reporting signs of a security incident. SIEMs or other security products generating alerts based on analysis of log data. File integrity checking software, using hashing algorithms to detect when important files have been altered. Anti-malware programs. Logs, including audit-related data, which should be systematically reviewed to look at anomalous and suspicious activity with users' external storage, real-time memory, network devices, operating systems, cloud services, applications.
Okay. So that's step 3.
3. Contain and recover. A security incident is analogous to a forest fire. Once you've detected an incident and its source, you need to contain the damage. This may involve disabling network access for computers known to be infected by viruses or other malware so they can be quarantined, and installing security patches to resolve malware issues or network vulnerabilities. You may also need to reset passwords for users with accounts that were breached, or block accounts of insiders that may have caused the incident. Additionally, your team should back up all affected systems to preserve their current state for later forensics.
Okay, you see, there is a key point: reset passwords for users. I think there are already many cases for this. Let's say okay, I think there is a news here about eBay. It is written in 2014.
eBay makes users change their passwords after hack.
You can find many news related to hacking and password reset.
Online marketplace eBay is forcing users to change their passwords after a cyber attack compromised its systems. The US firm said a database had been hacked between late February and early March, and had contained encrypted passwords and other non-financial data. The company added that it had no evidence of there being unauthorized activity on its members' accounts. However, it said that changing the passwords was best practice and will help enhance security for eBay users. The California-based company has 128 million active users and accounted for $212 billion, £126 billion worth of commerce on its various marketplaces and other services in 2013. It said it would be contacting users to alert them of the issue via email, its website, adverts, and social media. A spokesman added that the firm's engineers were in the process of rolling out a feature that would oblige members to choose new passwords when they next logged in, which should be live in each of the countries eBay operated in by the end of the day.
Okay, this is a usual practice that is followed by websites. When you log in, they will force you to change your password if they believe that your password has been exposed. Okay. All right. And this is also important. You should take backup for later forensics.
Next, move to any needed service restoration, which includes 2 critical steps. Perform system, network validation and testing to certify all systems as operational. Recertify any component that was compromised as both operational and secure. Ensure your long-term containment strategy includes not only returning all systems to production to allow for standard business operation, but also locking down or purging user accounts and backdoors that enabled the intrusion.
This is also important. So step 4.
Assess the damage and severity. Until the smoke clears, it can be difficult to grasp the severity of an incident and the extent of damage it has caused. For example, did it result from an external attack on servers that could shut down critical business components such as an e-commerce or reservation systems? Or, for example, did a web application layer intrusion perform a SQL injection attack to execute malicious SQL statements on a web application's database, or potentially use a web server as a pathway to steal data from or control critical backend systems? If critical systems are involved, escalate the incident and activate your CSIRT or response team immediately. In general, look at the cause of the incident. In cases where there was a successful external attacker or malicious insider, consider the event as more severe and respond accordingly. At the right time, review the pros and cons of launching a full-fledged cyber attribution investigation. 5. Begin the notification process. A data breach is a security incident in which sensitive, protected or confidential data is copied, transmitted, viewed, stolen or used by an individual unauthorized person. Privacy laws such as GDPR and California's CCPA require public notification in the event of such a data breach. Notify affected parties so they can protect themselves from identity theft or other fallout from the disclosure of confidential personal or financial data. See Exabeam's blog on how to create a breach notification letter in advance of a security incident. 6. Start now to prevent the same type of incident in the future. Once a security incident has been stabilized, examine lessons learned to prevent recurrences of similar incidents. This might include patching server vulnerabilities, training employees on how to avoid phishing scams, or rolling out technologies to better monitor insider threats. Fixing security flaws or vulnerabilities found during your post-incident activities is a given. Also, review lessons learned from the incident and implement appropriate changes to your security policies with training for staff and employees. For example, if the attack resulted from an unwitting employee opening an Excel file as an email attachment, implement a company-wide policy and training on how to recognize and respond to a phishing email. Lastly, update your security incident response plan to reflect all of these preventative measures. Every organization will have different incident response steps based on their unique IT environment and business needs. Study industry guides such as those published by NIST to ensure your IR planning includes all the necessary incident response steps to protect your organization when a cybersecurity incident occurs. Conclusion: an incident response methodology enables organizations to define response countermeasures in advance. There is a wide range of approaches to IR. The majority of security professionals agree with the 6 incident response steps recommended by NIST, including preparation, detection and analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and post-incident audits. When it comes to preparation, many organizations leverage a combination of assessment checklists, detailed incident response plans, summarized and actionable incident response playbooks, as well as policies that can automate some of the processes. While well planned, an incident response methodology should remain flexible, allowing for continuous
improvement. Okay, so what did we learn? We have learned what is incident response, why should you immediately report a cybersecurity incident, what are the 6 steps of incident response: preparation, detection and analysis, containment, eradication and recovery, post-incident activity, and what are the steps that we are going to take: assembling our team when we detect an incident, detect and ascertain the source of the incident, contain and recover from the incident, assess the damage and severity, begin the notification process, and after that, start now to prevent same type of incident in the future. So these are the steps, and if you want to learn more, I think there are some resources here. Okay, so we have seen the incident management, incident response, and now time for digital forensics. All right, so
Digital forensics in court. The Dennis Lynn Rader, BTK, killer. Metadata in Word file led to arrest after 30 years.
okay, let's get some information related to this case here.
Dennis Lynn Rader, born March 9, 1945, is an American serial killer known as BTK, an abbreviation he gave himself, for bind, torture, kill, or the BTK Strangler. Between 1974 and 1991, Rader killed 10 people in Wichita and Park City, Kansas, and sent taunting letters to police and newspapers describing the details of his crimes. 4, 5, 6. After a decade-long hiatus, Rader resumed sending letters in 2004, leading to his 2005 arrest and subsequent guilty plea. He is serving 10 consecutive life sentences at El Dorado Correctional Facility in Prospect Township, Butler County, Kansas. 1.
Okay, so maybe we can find information. Okay, here, I think it is here. Let's read it from here.
In January 2005, Rader attempted to leave a cereal box in the bed of a pickup truck at a Home Depot in Wichita, but the box was discarded by the truck's owner. It was later retrieved from the trash after Rader asked what had become of it in a later message. Surveillance tape of the parking lot from that date revealed a distant figure driving a black Jeep Cherokee leaving the box in the pickup. In February 2005, more postcards were sent to Cake, and another cereal box left at a rural location was found to contain another bound doll, apparently meant to symbolize the murder of 11-year-old Josephine Otero. Citation needed. In his letters to police, Rader asked if his writings, if put on a floppy disk, could be traced or not. The police answered his question in a newspaper ad posted in the Wichita Eagle saying it would be safe to use the disk. On February 16, 2005, Rader sent a purple 1.44 megabyte Memorex floppy disk to Fox TV affiliate KSAS-TV in Wichita. 45-46. Also enclosed were a letter, a gold-colored necklace with a large medallion, and a photocopy of the cover of Rules of Prey, a 1989 novel about a serial killer. 46. Police found metadata embedded in a deleted Microsoft Word document that was, unknown to Rader, still stored on the floppy disk. 47. The metadata contained the words Christ Lutheran Church, and the document was marked as last modified by Dennis. 48. An internet search determined that Dennis Rader was president of the church council. 45. When investigators drove by Rader's house, a black Jeep Cherokee, the type of vehicle seen in the Home Depot surveillance footage, was parked outside. 49. This was strong circumstantial evidence against Rader, but they needed more direct evidence to detain him. 50. Police obtained a warrant to test a Pap smear taken from Rader's daughter at the Kansas State University Medical Clinic. DNA tests showed a familial match between the Pap smear and the sample from Wagerly's fingernails. This indicated that the killer was closely related to Rader's daughter, and combined with the other evidence was enough for police to arrest Rader. 51.
Okay, as you can see, how metadata, how digital forensics led to arrest of a serial killer, and who killed more or equal to 10 people. Okay, you see.
Krenner Lusha. Search of laptop led to discovery of bomb-making equipment.
These are all cases. For example, we can also get an idea of this from Wikipedia, I think. Okay, anyway. Matt Baker.
Suicide of wife ruled murder after incriminating Google searches is discovered 4 years later.
Wow, this is interesting case. Murder case, perhaps. Okay, let's see.
Matt Baker has always claimed that his wife committed suicide, just as he told the 911 operator a little after midnight on April 8, 2006.
Okay, this looks like from a book. Let's read this.
On April 7, 2006, Carrie Baker, an elementary school teacher, was found dead in her bathroom, in the family's bedroom in Hewitt, near Waco, Texas, in what her husband Matt told authorities was a suicide. At the time of her death, Baker, a 38-year-old pastor and father of 2 young daughters, had been having an affair with the music minister's daughter. The book explores Baker's double life, examines the physical evidence against him, and includes 80 interviews with police, attorneys from both sides, family, friends, church and community members. 1. Baker was convicted of murder and, in January 2010, was given a 65-year sentence for killing his wife and covering up her murder. 2. The author interviewed Baker in state prison after his conviction and sentencing. 3. Upon the book's release, Casey appeared on Cab TV Fox San Antonio's Daytime at 9 show, telling the host, Matt Baker almost got away with killing his wife. Baker had left a typed, unsigned suicide note, and police originally believed it had been written by the wife, who was thought to have died from an overdose of sleeping pills. 4. The death was ruled as suicide and an autopsy was not ordered by the Justice of the Peace. The case remained a suicide until local authorities reopened the investigation after the victim's family hired an attorney and private investigators. Then, police began piecing together the clues. Using the evidence gathered, a Texas Ranger encouraged police to file charges against Baker. The case might never have gone to trial if Baker's mistress hadn't told a McLennan County grand jury that Baker had confessed to her that he'd staged the suicide and murdered his wife. Baker was indicted for murder in March 2009. 5-6.
Okay, we couldn't find the information related to this one. Okay, let's look at this case. Maybe this is a more definitive one, like the first case. Oh, here.
On the morning of October 13, 1996, Lopaka informed her husband she was going to Georgia to meet acquaintances. 1. She also left him a note that she would not be returning home and requested not to track down Glass. The note also read that, "If my body is never retrieved, don't worry, know that I'm at peace." 1. That morning, Lopaka drove her blue Honda Civic to Baltimore's Pennsylvania station, a 45-minute drive, 4, and had arrived on an Amtrak train at Charlotte, North Carolina, by 8:45 p.m. 4. 1. Glass drove with Lopaka in his pickup truck to his rural Lenoir, North Carolina mobile home, 80 miles from Charlotte. 1. Lopaka's husband Victor found the note his wife left for him and notified the police, who found 6 weeks of email conversations between Lopaka and Glass. 4. In her email correspondence with Glass, Lopaka had explicitly asked Glass to torture her to death. 4. Glass, interviewed later during his imprisonment, admitted to fulfilling Lopaka's torture fantasy, but also said that the death was an accident. As he recalled, "I don't know how much I pulled the rope, I never wanted to kill her, but she ended up dead." 1. This was supported by the autopsy performed by Dr. John Butts, the chief state medical examiner of North Carolina, who stated that Lopaka was accidentally strangled to death 3 days after her arrival in North Carolina. 1. However, the police disagreed. Their search warrant affidavits described the death as intentional, and that the emails proved it. 1. North Carolina police staked out Glass' home for several days. 4. But did not see Lopaka. On October 25, 1996, Judge Beverly T. Beale issued a search warrant on the home, and inside the house, investigators discovered items belonging to Lopaka. 1. In addition, they also found drug and bondage equipment, child pornography magazines, a .357 Magnum pistol, and several computer disks, as well as trash and toys outside the trailer. 4. 1. A police officer then noticed a mound of soil 75 feet away from the home, before finding some body parts buried 2.5 feet below. 1. Glass was arrested at work following this discovery, charged with first-degree murder, and held without bond in the Caldwell County Jail. 1. Glass was also hit with additional state and federal charges for the possession of child pornography. 7. County investigator D.A. Brown said that Lopaka's body might have never been found had it been buried in the woods behind Glass House. 1.
Okay, you see, the emails have were very important in this case.
The Lopaka case was reportedly the first where a murder suspect was put in custody by the police department mainly due to evidence from emails. 1.
You see, from emails it was put to the custody. And let's read the other paragraph.
A majority of the media coverage of Lopaka's killing mainly put their focus on the dangerous consequences of internet-held meetings.
Okay, so we get the idea. So all these terms are same, which are
digital forensics, computer forensics, network forensics, electronic data discovery, cyber forensics, forensic computing.
okay. All of these may mean the same thing. However, there is a big difference in the handling of the evidence, which are law enforcement and corporate incidents. So law enforcement and corporate incidents are differently handled. Okay.
What is digital evidence? Any digital data that contains reliable information that supports or refutes a hypothesis about an incident. Forensic investigation process.
Identification, preservation, collection, examination, analysis, and presentation. Okay, so at the crime scene, document the crime scene, document who has access to the crime scene, document any contamination, photograph everything, especially the screen, locate the media, follow cables. All digital devices may contain digital evidence. If computer is running, dump the RAM, because there may be a very useful information in the RAM at that moment, and which would be lost when the computer is closed. Okay, so basic scientific principles. Best evidence is minimal intrusion, minimal force, minimal interruption, transparency, chain of custody, primacy of the mission, impartiality, and documentation. So the evidence location may be network analysis, media analysis, software analysis, and hardware analysis. So dealing with the evidence, reoccupied, return, or says, original, clone, image, targeted copy, extensive copy. Admissible evidence, how was it gathered, who was it treated, how was it treated, who handled it, how reliable is it, is the chain of custody complete. So, okay, let's continue. Evidence categories: conclusive evidence, that is fact; best evidence, this is it; secondary evidence, this how it looks; direct evidence, this is what I saw. Evidence categories: corroborative evidence, okay, that happened because of this; circumstantial evidence, that could have happened because of this; opinion evidence, I am an expert, this is what happened; hearsay evidence, I heard this about that; digital evidence is considered hearsay unless an expert vouches for it. Okay, so maybe we can find a better article about this. You see, there are a lot of resources. Okay, let's read from Wikipedia, which is very useful generally.
The digital forensic process is a recognized scientific and forensic process used in digital forensics investigations. 2. Forensics researcher Owen Casey defines it as a number of steps from the original incident alert through to reporting of findings. 3. The process is predominantly used in computer and mobile forensic investigations and consists of 3 steps: acquisition, analysis, and reporting. Digital media seized for investigation is usually referred to as an exhibit in legal terminology. Investigators employ the scientific method to recover digital evidence to support or disprove a hypothesis, either for a court of law or in civil proceedings. 2. Personnel. The stages of the digital forensics process require different specialist training and knowledge. There are 2 rough levels of personnel. 3. Digital forensic technician. Technicians gather or process evidence at crime scenes. These technicians are trained on the correct handling of technology, for example, how to preserve the evidence. Technicians may be required to carry out live analysis of evidence. Various tools to simplify this procedure have been produced, most notably Microsoft's COFEE. Digital evidence examiners. Examiners specialize in one area of digital evidence, either at a broad level, i.e. computer or network forensics, etc., or as a sub-specialist, i.e. image analysis. Process models. There have been many attempts to develop a process model, but so far none have been universally accepted. Part of the reason for this may be due to the fact that many of the process models were designed for a specific environment, such as law enforcement, and they therefore could not be readily applied in other environments such as incident response. 4. This is a list of the main models since 2001 in chronological order. 4.
Okay. You may read these if you want. Let's continue. So the seizure is really important.
Seizure. Prior to the actual examination, digital media will be seized. In criminal cases, this will often be performed by law enforcement personnel trained as technicians to ensure the preservation of evidence. In civil matters, it will usually be a company officer, often untrained. Various laws cover the seizure of material. In criminal matters, law related to search warrants is applicable. In civil proceedings, the assumption is that a company is able to investigate their own equipment without a warrant, so long as the privacy and human rights of employees are preserved. Acquisition. Once exhibits have been seized, an exact sector-level duplicate, or forensic duplicate, of the media is created, usually via a write-blocking device. The duplication process is referred to as imaging or acquisition. 5. The duplicate is created using a hard drive duplicator or software imaging tools such as DCF-LDD, IX Imager, GuiMager, TrueBack, Encase, FTK Imager or FDAS. The original drive is then returned to secure storage to prevent tampering. The acquired image is verified by using the SHA-1 or MD5 hash functions. At critical points throughout the analysis, the media is verified again to ensure that the evidence is still in its original state. The process of verifying the image with a hash function is called hashing. Given the problems associated with imaging large drives, multiple networked computers, file servers that cannot be shut down, and cloud resources, new techniques have been developed that combine digital forensic acquisition and e-discovery processes.
Okay, and continue.
Analysis. After acquisition, the contents of the HDD image files are analyzed to identify evidence that either supports or contradicts a hypothesis or for signs of tampering, to hide data. 6. In 2002, the International Journal of Digital Evidence referred to this stage as an in-depth systematic search of evidence related to the suspected crime. 7. By contrast, Brian Carrier, in 2006, describes a more intuitive procedure, in which obvious evidence is first identified, after which exhaustive searches are conducted to start filling in the holes. 8. During the analysis, an investigator usually recovers evidence material using a number of different methodologies and tools, often beginning with recovery of deleted material. Examiners use specialist tools, Encase, ILOOKIX, FTK, etc., to aid with viewing and recovering data. The type of data recovered varies depending on the investigation, but examples include email, chat logs, images, internet history, or documents. The data can be recovered from accessible disk space, deleted, unallocated space, or from within operating system cache files. 3. Various types of techniques are used to recover evidence, usually involving some form of keyword searching within the acquired image file, either to identify matches to relevant phrases or to filter out known file types. Certain files, such as graphic images, have a specific set of bytes events which identify the start and end of a file. If identified, a deleted file can be reconstructed. 3. Many forensic tools use hash signatures to identify notable files or to exclude known, benign files. Acquired data is hashed and compared to pre-compiled lists such as the Reference Data Set (RDS) from the National Software Reference Library. 5. On most media types, including standard magnetic hard disks, once data has been securely deleted, it can never be recovered. 9. 10. Once evidence is recovered, the information is analyzed to reconstruct events or actions and to reach conclusions, work that can often be performed by less specialized staff. 7. Digital investigators, particularly in criminal investigations, have to ensure that conclusions are based upon data and their own expert knowledge. 3. In the U.S., for example, federal rules of evidence state that a qualified expert may testify, in the form of an opinion or otherwise, so long as 1. The testimony is based upon sufficient facts or data, 2. The testimony is the product of reliable principles and methods, and 3. The witness has applied the principles and methods reliably to the facts of the case. 11. Reporting. When an investigation is completed, the information is often reported in a form suitable for non-technical individuals. Reports may also include audit information and other meta-documentation. 3. When completed, reports are usually passed to those commissioning the investigation, such as law enforcement, for criminal cases, or the employing company, in civil cases, who will then decide whether to use the evidence in court. Generally, for a criminal court, the report package will consist of a written expert conclusion of the evidence as well as the evidence itself, often presented on digital media. 3.
Okay, when digital evidence is used in law, in the court, it has to be saved according to the law. So it is extremely easy to compose fake digital evidence or generate forged digital evidence. Therefore, the seizure and acquisition processes are the most important parts of digital forensics to use in court in criminal cases. Okay, so we have seen this, and let's continue with finding evidence. Finding evidence, many ways to hide, many ways to find. So hidden files, setting the hidden flag on the file, different for Windows and Linux, Unix systems. Inconspicuous folder names. Okay. Locating hidden files. The hidden flag is ignored by default, of course. Foreign software can be set to show the drive as flat drive, ignoring folder hierarchy. Changing file extensions. When opening the file, the system returns an error message. Oh, I guess it is corrupt, too bad. Of course, this is not the case for digital investigation. Discovering changed file extensions. Some forensic software will point out files with mismatch extensions. File signatures tells us what kind of file it is, also called magic numbers. For example, file signatures, a hexadecimal code in the file, also called file headers and footers. For example, this is the hexadecimal code of PDF. This is MP3. This is JPEG. This is PMP. This is exe, COM, DLL, and such. Obscuring file names is also a way of hiding files. Hiding files by giving them inconspicuous file names. Let's read it by the AI.
Hiding files by giving them inconspicuous file names.
Okay. For example, Blueprint's iPhone 8 JPEG becomes Florida Vacation 001 JPEG. Okay. File names are not an issue. Hash functions to look for known files. List of hash sums recognize known illicit files. List of hash sums recognize known good files. We can create our own list. For example, if I were working in law enforcement, I would generate hash list of common Windows files, and I would ignore all of them automatically. For let's say, let's open our Windows folder. Okay, and here I would generate hash of every file here, because these are files that would be used by every computer. Therefore, I don't need to check them. So having hash of these files would speed my process significantly at every case, at every investigation. So,
Steganography.
what is stenography?
Steganography, STNRFI, listen, steg-nog-rfi, is the practice of concealing a file, message, image, or video within another file, message, image, or video. The word steganography comes from Greek steganographia, which combines the words steganos meaning covered or concealed, and graphia, graph meaning writing. 1. Whereas cryptography is the practice of protecting the contents of a message alone, steganography is concerned both with concealing the fact that a secret message is being sent and its contents. Steganography includes the concealment of information within computer files. In digital steganography, electronic communications may include steganographic coding inside of a transport layer, such as a document file, image file, program or protocol. Media files are ideal for steganographic transmission because of their large size. For example, a sender might start with an innocuous image file and adjust the color of every 100th pixel to correspond to a letter in the alphabet. The change is so subtle that someone who is not specifically looking for it is unlikely to notice the change.
Okay. Techniques. Digital messages. Okay, so in this image, this cat is extracted. How? Okay. So actually, this image contains this cat image by this method.
Image of a tree with a steganographically hidden image. The hidden image is revealed by removing all but the two least significant bits of each color component and a subsequent normalization. The hidden image is shown below.
However, how can you know that? It is the issue. Okay, so let's read the digital messages which we are interested in.
Digital messages. Modern steganography entered the world in 1985 with the advent of personal computers being applied to classical steganography problems. 7. Development following that was very slow, but has since taken off, going by the large number of steganography software available. Concealing messages within the lowest bits of noisy images or sound files. A survey and evaluation of relevant literature, techniques on the topic of digital image steganography can be found here. 8. Concealing data within encrypted data or within random data. The message to conceal is encrypted, then used to overwrite part of a much larger block of encrypted data or a block of random data. An unbreakable cipher like the one-time pad generates ciphertexts that look perfectly random without the private key, chaffing and winnowing.
So many ways. Let's read all of them.
Mimic functions convert one file to have the statistical profile of another. This can thwart statistical methods that help brute force attacks identify the right solution in a ciphertext-only attack. Concealed messages in tampered executable files, exploiting redundancy in the targeted instruction set. Pictures embedded in video material, optionally played at slower or faster speed, injecting imperceptible delays to packets sent over the network from the keyboard. Delays in keypresses in some applications, telnet or remote desktop software, can mean a delay in packets, and the delays in the packets can be used to encode data. Changing the order of elements in a set. Content-aware steganography hides information in the semantics a human user assigns to a datagram. These systems offer security against a non-human adversary, warden. Blog steganography. Messages are fractionalized and the encrypted pieces are added as comments of orphaned web logs or pin boards on social network platforms. In this case, the selection of blogs is the symmetric key that sender and recipient are using. The carrier of the hidden message is the whole blogosphere. Modifying the echo of a sound file. Echo steganography. 9. Steganography for audio signals. 10. Image bit plane complexity segmentation steganography including data in ignored sections of a file, such as after the logical end of the carrier file. 11. Adaptive steganography. Skin tone based steganography using a secret embedding angle. 12. Embedding data within the control flow diagram of a program subjected to control flow analysis. 13.
Okay.
Digital text. Making text the same color as the background in word processor documents, emails, and forum posts, using Unicode characters that look like the standard ASCII character set. The homograph spoofing attack. On most systems, there is no visual difference from ordinary text. Some systems may display the fonts differently, and the extra information would then be easily spotted. Of course, using hidden control characters, and redundant use of markup, e.g., empty bold, underline or italics, to embed information within HTML, which is visible by examining the document source. HTML pages can contain code for extra blank spaces and tabs at the end of lines, and colors, fonts and sizes, which are not visible when displayed. Using non-printing Unicode characters zero-width joiner, ZWJ, and zero-width non-joiner, ZWNJ. 14, 15. These characters are used for joining and disjoining letters in Arabic and Persian, but can be used in Roman alphabets for hiding information because they have no meaning in Roman alphabets. Because they are zero width, they are not displayed. ZWJ and ZWNJ can represent 1 and 0. This may also be done with end space, figure space and white space characters. 16. Embedding a secret message in the pattern of deliberate errors and marked corrections in a word process.
Sorry about the pausing. Okay, so
Hiding an image within a sound file. An image or a text can be converted into a sound file, which is then analyzed with a spectrogram to reveal the image. Various artists have used this method to conceal hidden pictures in their songs, such as Aphex Twin in Windowlicker, or Nine Inch Nails in their album Year Zero, 19. Social steganography. In communities with social or government taboos or censorship, people use cultural steganography, hiding messages in idiom, pop culture references, and other messages they share publicly and assume are monitored. This relies on social context to make the underlying messages visible only to certain readers. 2021 examples include hiding a message in the title and context of a shared video or image, misspelling names or words that are popular in the media in a given week to suggest an alternate meaning, hiding a picture which can be traced by using Paint or any other drawing tool.
okay, there are also some other ways. Anyway, now we know the steganography.
Hiding a file inside another file. Hiding nuclear launch codes.txt inside adorable cat JPEG. Not very common. Steganography example.
Okay, so
Zeus VM botnet malware used image files to hide configuration files.
okay, this is the key point of steganography.
Discovering steganography. Hard to determine unless you are looking for it. Steganography software on suspect's computer a strong indicator. File type signatures to the rescue. Encrypted files. This is where the problems start for the investigator. Strong encryption algorithms almost impossible to break. Sorry, I've forgotten my 50-character long password.
Yes, it is impossible to decrypt properly encrypted files. For example, let's say you have determined a salted password for your SHA 256 encryption, and actually it is one way. However, there are two ways encryptions as well. It is impossible to decrypt properly encrypted files. For example, WinRAR has encryption feature. Let me show you. Add to archive, and there is a set password, and if I do a password something like this and encrypt it and archive it, now nothing on the world can decrypt this. It is impossible. Okay, and you can't even see the content of the digital archive as well. So the encrypted file is smaller because it has applied zipping as well. There is also a tool Kaspersky password check. Okay, so I will change this to English. Okay, so let's just check the password we have just generated. Okay, so it says your password check is hack resistant. Your password does not appear in any database of leaked passwords. Your password will be brute forced with an average home computer in approximately 10,000 plus centuries. Okay, so it is impossible, as you can see. This is the password. However, if I make it like home, let's see what is the channel. Okay, it says your password is easily crackable. Password is common or a word. This password appeared 8 times in a database of leaked passwords. This means that this password will be on the list of password rainbow tables. Okay, so it would be hacked immediately from one of the rainbow tables. If I make it like this, okay, it becomes hack resistant, however still not good enough. It is 3 months in a average computer, but in a supercomputer it is pretty fast. If I make it like this, it becomes 2 months. If I make it like this, it becomes 3 centuries. You see, it is getting extremely hard. If I add a ladder like this, it becomes 900 centuries. I mean 119 centuries. And if you add some ladders like this, it becomes 10 plus centuries. It can be also increased security by adding some other characters, and like this, you see it becomes 6 centuries. Okay.
Breaking, encryption. Get access to data while unencrypted. Recovering key from RAM, Mimikatz.
Let's search for Mimikatz. What is it? Interesting. No English. Mimikatz. Okay, I think there's description about Mimikatz.
Mimikatz is a credential dumping open source program used to obtain account login and password information, normally in the form of a hash or a clear text password, from an operating system or software. Credentials can then be used to perform lateral movement and access restricted information. Mimikatz is a Windows x32, x64 program to extract passwords, hash, pins, and Kerberos tickets from memory. It is used as an attack tool against Windows clients, allowing the extraction of cleartext passwords and password hashes from memory. The program was coded in C by Benjamin Delpy in 2007 to learn more about Windows credentials and as a proof of concept. There are two optional components that provide additional features: MimidRV driver to interact with the Windows kernel, and Mimilib AppLocker bypass, auth package, SSP, password filter, and Securl SA for WinDBG. Mimikatz requires administrator or system and often debug rights in order to perform certain actions and interact with the LSASS process, depending on the action requested. In the last years, Mimikatz was used as a component of two ransomware worms that have reached targets around the globe. Both NotPetya and Bad Rabbit ransomware used Mimikatz in conjunction with leaked NSA hacking tools to automate attacks whose infections saturated networks, with disastrous results. NotPetya was able to paralysis thousands of computers at companies like FedEx, Maersk, and Merck. It is believed to have caused over $1 billion in damages.
You see how it is serious to have vulnerabilities in your system. It has caused over $1 billion in damages. This is a real damage.
What is a pass the hash? Pass the hash (PTH) is a hacking technique for authenticating as a user using his hashed password instead of the cleartext password. The attacker obtains that username and user password hash values. Different techniques can be used and presents them to a remote server or service. The attack exploits an implementation weakness in the authentication protocol, where the password hash remains static from session to session and until the next password change. What is a Meterpreter session? Meterpreter, or more precisely Metasploit Meterpreter, is a payload within the Metasploit framework that runs as a DLL loaded into any process on the target machine, which provides control over the target system. A Metasploit framework is a tool for developing and executing exploit code against a remote target machine. Mimikatz can be downloaded and invoked as part of a Meterpreter shell. Is Mimikatz an easy tool to hack with? Not at all. An attacker need to get access to a physical computer which was not shut down correctly. Also, there have been several Windows updates that mitigate the vulnerability that Mimikatz take advantage of.
Okay, anyway, let's continue. The good old brute force, which is almost impossible in the today's world if you are using a proper password. I think this would be a more suitable way
exploiting weaknesses in the software or the algorithm used. Cryptanalysis. Some countries have laws that compel the suspect to give up keys. Unencrypted data, the arrest of Ross Ulbricht.
Okay, let's check this out. Oh, I had read this. This is about Silk Road, famous trial.
Silk Road used Tor and Bitcoin. Tor is a network which implements protocols that encrypt data and routes internet traffic through intermediary servers that anonymize IP addresses before reaching a final destination. By hosting his market as a Tor site, Ulbricht could conceal its IP address. 5.6 Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. While all Bitcoin transactions are recorded in a public log called the blockchain, users who avoid linking their identities to their online wallets can conduct transactions with considerable anonymity.
Okay. Let's get an idea about Silk Road.
In February 2015, Ulbricht was convicted of money laundering, computer hacking, conspiracy to traffic fraudulent identity documents, and conspiracy to traffic narcotics by means of the Internet. 7. In May 2015, he was sentenced to a double life sentence plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. Ulbricht's appeals to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in 2017 and the U.S. Supreme Court in 2018 were unsuccessful. 8, 9, 10. He is currently incarcerated at the United States Penitentiary in Tucson.
So you see, he has got a life sentence from computer hackings. It can be this much little and serious. So it is best to avoid from hacking practices. Okay. Okay, here.
Ulbricht was first connected to Dread Pirate Roberts by Gary Alford, an IRS investigator working with the DIA on the Silk Road case. In mid-2013, 24-25, the connection was made by linking the username Altoid, used during Silk Road's early days to announce the website, and a forum post in which Ulbricht, posting under the nickname Altoid, asked for programming help and gave his email address, which contained his full name. 24. In October 2013, Ulbricht was arrested by the FBI while at the Glen Park branch of the San Francisco Public Library, and accused of being the mastermind behind the site. 26, 27, 28. To prevent Ulbricht from encrypting or deleting files on the laptop he was using to run the site as he was arrested, 2 agents pretended to be quarreling lovers. When they had sufficiently distracted him. 29. According to Joshua Behrman of Wired, a 3rd agent grabbed the laptop while Ulbricht was distracted by the apparent lovers' fight and handed it to Agent Thomas Kiernan. 30. Kiernan then inserted a flash drive in one of the laptop's USB ports, with software that copied key files.
Okay, you may read more information related to this case. I think this is the biggest crime history of. This is the biggest case of computer crimes in history, I think. Or let's say, we may say, biggest sentenced case. Okay, so let's see the convictions.
Money laundering computer hacking conspiracy to traffic narcotics, February 6, 2015. double life imprisonment plus 40 years without possibility of parole, May 29, 2015.
Okay, let's continue. So I think this is the screenshot of that site and the screenshot of the Ulbrich's laptop at the library, as you can see. This is from the picture taken from the laptop while it was open. So if he were able to close the laptop, probably everything would be remained encrypted or get deleted automatically, and they wouldn't have the necessary evidence to arrest that Ross Ulbricht. Okay. Okay, there is also another case, San Bernardino case. Okay, here. Bernardino. Okay, here.
The most well-known instance of the latter category was a February 2016 court case in the United States District Court for the Central District of California. The Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) wanted Apple to create an electronically signed new software that would enable the FBI to unlock a work-issued iPhone 5C it recovered from one of the shooters who, in a December 2015 terrorist attack in San Bernardino, California, killed 14 people and injured 22. The two attackers later died in a shootout with police, having first destroyed their personal phones. The work phone was recovered intact but was locked with a 4-digit password and was set to eliminate all its data after 10 failed password attempts, a common anti-theft measure on smartphones. Apple declined to create the software, and a hearing was scheduled for March 22. However, a day before the hearing was supposed to happen, the government obtained a delay, saying they had found a third party able to assist in unlocking the iPhone, and, on March 28, it announced that the FBI had unlocked the iPhone and withdrew its request. In March 2018, the Los Angeles Times later reported, the FBI eventually found that Farouk's phone had information only about work and revealed nothing about the plot. 4.
I think they have used a method that copies the entire phone and emulates it, and each time when an incorrect password entered, they were using that copy again and again. Therefore, 4 digits is very easy to solve, and they have solved the password themselves. However, if this was 40 digits or 40 letters password, it would be impossible for them to break even in a long time. They were able to solve it because it was only 4 digits. Okay, I think there is technical details. Okay. How they solve it, maybe it is written somewhere else, because I have read it somewhere else. Maybe we can find another article. Okay, got this one as well.
Senator confirms FBI paid $900,000 to unlock San Bernardino iPhone.
Okay, it was here, I think.
The technique, dismissed by FBI Director James Comey as unworkable at the time of the agency's high-profile battle with Apple, sees the memory which is used as the main storage location on iPhones cloned and the passcode counter reset to 0. Because I can create as many clones as I want, I can repeat the process many times until the passcode is found, Skarabagotov says in the video. Each set of 6 guesses takes 90 seconds to complete, meaning the 10,000 possible combinations could be fully tested in just over 41 hours.
Okay, you see, since it was 4 digits passcode, it would only taking 41 hours. If it was 5 digits, it would take 400 hours. If it was 6-digit code, it would take 4,100 hours and more.
The process does not require any expensive and sophisticated equipment. All needed parts are low cost and were obtained from local electronics distributors, Skarabagotov said in the paper, entitled The Bumpy Road Towards iPhone 5C NAND Mirroring, suggesting altogether the components could be bought online for as little as $100. While the technique demonstrated works for all iPhones up to the iPhone 6, Skarabagotov added that with the use of more sophisticated hardware, the same technique should work for the iPhone 6s and even Apple's brand new iPhone 7.
Okay, so the technique is basically iPhone 5C and AD and A and D mirroring. If we search for it, we can find it. Okay, so
This paper is a short summary of a real-world mirroring attack on the Apple iPhone 5C passcode retry counter under iOS 9. This was achieved by desoldering the NAND flash chip of a sample phone in order to physically access its connection to the SoC and partially reverse engineering its proprietary bus protocol.
you see there are even papers about the attack right now. Maybe the Apple has fixed this vulnerability in its later phones. I don't know. However, as you can see, if you have physical access to the devices, your chances of finding a vulnerability and exploit increasing. But if the password were too weak, it would take too much more time and it would be impossible to crack the password. You see, it says exploit weakness.
Exploit weaknesses. Deleting files. Deleting the files from the computer before law enforcement claims it. You can't prove anything, there is nothing there. How does the system delete files? Deleting a file does not actually remove it. In Windows, the file is renamed.
It is renamed as this, as you can see.
This tells the system that the space is available to be overwritten in the future. Reclaiming deleted files. Data carving, ignore file system, extract file directly from the media. Renaming the file. Reclaiming overwritten files.
By the way, this deleting is more about by just clicking the delete file, it would add them to the recycle bin. However, if you do shift delete or delete from recycle bin, it can be still reclaimed. Let's read again.
Reclaiming overwritten files. Pieces of data can be recovered from slack space. File slack, RAM slack, drive slack. Forensics software can often recover files or parts of files from slack space. People encrypt their drives nowadays.
If you encrypt your drive, of course, it would become impossible. And there is also another way of properly deleting file, which is secure erase. Okay, if you do a secure erase, that means that file can never be recovered again.
Data erasure, sometimes referred to as data clearing, data wiping, or data destruction, is a software-based method of overwriting the data that aims to completely destroy all electronic data residing on a hard disk drive or other digital media by using zeros and ones to overwrite data onto all sectors of the device. By overwriting the data on the storage device, the data is rendered unrecoverable and achieves data sanitization. Ideally, software designed for data erasure should allow for selection of a specific standard, based on unique needs, and verify the overwriting method has been successful and removed data across the entire device. Permanent data erasure goes beyond basic file deletion commands, which only remove direct pointers to the data disk sectors and make the data recovery possible with common software tools. Unlike degaussing and physical destruction, which render the storage media unusable, data erasure removes all information while leaving the disk operable. New flash memory-based media implementations, such as solid-state drives or USB flash drives, can cause data erasure techniques to fail, allowing remnant data to be recoverable. 1.
Okay.
Software-based overwriting uses a software application to write a stream of zeros, ones, or meaningless pseudorandom data onto all sectors of a hard disk drive. There are key differentiators between data erasure and other overwriting methods, which can leave data intact and raise the risk of data breach, identity theft, or failure to achieve regulatory compliance. Many data eradication programs also provide multiple overwrites so that they support recognized government and industry standards, though a single pass overwrite is widely considered to be sufficient for modern hard disk drives. Good software should provide verification of data removal, which is necessary for meeting certain standards. To protect the data on lost or stolen media, some data erasure applications remotely destroy the data if the password is incorrectly entered. Data erasure tools can also target specific data on a disk for routine erasure, providing a hacking protection method that is less time-consuming than software encryption. Hardware, firmware encryption built into the drive itself or integrated controllers is a popular solution with no degradation in performance at all.
Okay, let's continue.
Metadata. What if we only have a file, and not the source media? Using metadata. Data about the file: when was the file last used, when was the file created, who opened it, where was it created. Can prove who had access to the file.
Okay, there are also websites that does online meta analysis. I will just show you an example. So we can drop image files here, or we can upload documents to this website. I will upload our PDF file, and let's see what will it show us. Usually Microsoft Tools adds metadata to your files. So it says it was composed by Microsoft PowerPoint 2016. Title is Catch Me If You Can. You see the creator is still kept in the metadata which I am using. If you have checked it, I have put the original lecturer here. As you can see, it is shown here as well. So from this metadata, the author could be identified because it is kept. However, I could also remove it. Let me show you an example of to remove from properties. There is security, and from here there is this option, and when you say this option, it will let you to delete all the private information. And when I save it again like this, okay, by the way, my software is in Turkish at the moment and I don't have time to change right now. Let's reanalyze, but same steps, you can obtain the same results. So all the metadata should have gone right now, the private metadata. Okay, oh, it is still there. I have removed it, but interesting. Why? Let's check it out. Oh, I know why. I know why. Oh, okay. Okay, it is gone. And okay. It is there because I didn't delete this, as you know. Okay, now I am going to delete it. Now I'm going to resave it. Okay, and let's reanalyze. Okay, it is still there. Apparently, we have failed to delete again. Interesting. Maybe it is using the caged file. I don't know. Oh, because I have uploaded the incorrect file. Sorry about that. So this is the latest file. Okay, let's analyze it. Okay, now you see there is no information that could identify back to me. Okay, we have removed all the private information, and okay, raw header. From this raw header, probably you can determine the file type. Okay, let's continue where we have left. Metadata example, watch home. So this file is generated by watch home. Okay. Okay. So this is related to this lecturer who prepared this file, and you can check the forums. So this is a Reddit forum, I think. Let's open it. and there's also a Reddit forum. Okay, forensic science and criminal analytics. You can find a lot of useful information here, I believe. Anyway, and there is this one. Maybe we can find something better. Okay, and information security news discussion forum. Oh, this has so many members, so there could be some useful information here. Okay, anyway, and let's check some more information related to metadata because it is important.
Metadata is data that provides information about other data. In other words, it is data about data. Many distinct types of metadata exist, including descriptive metadata, structural metadata, administrative metadata, 2, reference metadata, and statistical metadata. Descriptive metadata is descriptive information about a resource. It is used for discovery and identification. It includes elements such as title, abstract, author, and keywords. Structural metadata is metadata about containers of data and indicates how compound objects are put together. For example, how pages are ordered to form chapters. It describes the types, versions, relationships, and other characteristics of digital materials. 4. Administrative metadata is information to help manage a resource, like resource type, permissions, and when and how it was created. 5. Reference metadata is information about the contents and quality of statistical data. Statistical metadata, also called process data, may describe processes that collect, process, or produce statistical data.
You can see more information related to metadata here. So we have come to end of the lecture. I have posted your final project on our GitHub page and also on our LMS system. So let's open it. Here, the semester project details. So let's download it. Open it. Okay. In this project, you are not going to develop a software. This project is more likely to prepare an article. Okay, kind of academic article. Your article must have all of the areas in here. Okay, so as much as you define the areas here in your article, you will get more points. Okay, so I will decide based on your article quality to your score. It shouldn't be just copy and pasted article from internet because we will be also needed to explain it in a video. And please read this file at least 2 times. And please start working on it already to not be get late. So this is more likely let's say essay type article. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask me from my email, from Discord channel and such. Hopefully see you next week. Please try to avoid from coronavirus. Okay, I'm not going to save this. Okay, it should be fine. Let's upload the latest lecture to the GitHub. By the way, digital forensics is an area that will be extremely popular in near future. If you become an expert on digital forensics, you can find a job that will pay you very well. Believe me. Digital forensics is extremely important and becomes more and more important each day as our lives become more digital and crimes becomes being committed by digitally. Therefore, this is an area that you can become expert. Okay. Okay, see you later.